All right, this is the Cylon Nugget Ice Maker. We've been wanting one of these for a long time. We finally pulled the trigger. I'm gonna do a full unboxing just so you can see what it looks like, and then I'll do a review on a separate video. First thing I wanna point out, if you're getting this for someone for Christmas and that person lives in your house, pay attention to what the box looks like that UPS or FedEx is gonna drop it off like. I ordered this to the house, it was for my wife, plopped it right on the front porch, giant ice maker, full picture of it there. So it is not discreet packaging whatsoever. So if you're gonna order this for someone for Christmas and they live in the same house with you, plan accordingly, just know that that's it. So let me go ahead and get into the box here. It's a pretty heavy box. I mean, the unit, I don't remember what the unit weighs, but the box itself is relatively heavy. Looks like gross weight of about 22 pounds. It's not super big, which is great because we wanted one that would fit on our countertop easily. So let me see, I'm gonna actually just go ahead and do it like this. I don't know if you're supposed to, but that's what I'm gonna do. All right, there we go. So nothing fancy with the packaging, you know, kind of just a standard pack. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it upright because I know that these units are not really supposed to be upside down. Let me cut your package here. Just have to open this up so we can see what we got. All right, so just normal packaging. Like I said, nothing fancy there. So there it is. Honestly, I am really pleased with the unit size. That's one of the reasons we went with this specific model. It is not very big, and it's you know, it's smaller than your average air fryer would be, honestly. And so if you're gonna leave this out on the counter, like we are planning to, you know, you don't want something that's huge, this is exactly what we are looking for. I think it has about a 32-pound ice capacity that it will produce every 24 hours, which is actually pretty good. And so I'm excited to go ahead and get this set up, get it plugged in, and show you what it looks like. But so far, really happy with the size. It's very, it is heavy for sure, but it feels just like a really nice quality unit, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'll jump to the review now. All right, so here it is, kind of in the spot where we want to do it. You can see my wife's got the little Nespresso coffee bar set up over here on this little small island that we have. So in terms of dimensions, just for the people, I know a lot of times that's the key thing you're looking for. Our cabinets here are about 18¼ inches tall, and this unit is just at 13. So plenty of clearance on the, you can see just enough clearance when it's down and still clearance to lift the hood if we push this all the way back. So this unit is perfect. When it's down, you got 5 inches. When you lift it all the way up, you still have enough clearance to be able to do that. This lid also does hold itself up at some like kind of halfway positions. It came with this little suction cup so that you can have your scoop hung on the side. That's your scoop to kind of get everything out. Two things I want to call out though. One, it says right on the top of the unit, when you take off the packaging, it says it, and it says it here too. When you first get it, you're supposed to let it sit upright for 24 hours before you turn it on. And the reason for that is because the refrigerant and stuff in ice machines, as it goes through the mail and it gets turned upside down, it doesn't work right if it's been turned upside down. And so you're supposed to give it 24 hours sitting in the upright position to let everything come to rest where it's supposed to be. So just keep that in mind. And then the second thing is, and I'm curious about this because you can see where this could come into play here, but there's an exhaust fan on the side, which is what blows the hot air out. So ice machines will take cold air in, they'll turn it into ice, basically super cold temp, and then you'll exhaust the hot air. There's this vent on the side, and it says for best performance, you're supposed to keep 5.9 inches of clearance, you know, by the nearest surface. So 5.9 inches, that would be about right here. And so you're supposed to keep that much space. We probably are not gonna give it that amount of space. I'm probably gonna put it a little closer. And so I'm curious to see how it performs if we don't give it the proper ventilation and the proper clearances. We could always spin it around and kind of face it sideways or something, but I'm gonna try to just put it here like this, and I'll probably take that off. I'm gonna try to just put it just like this and give it that 2 to 3 inches of clearance, and we'll see how it goes. So we've had the ice maker for a while now. We've been able to use it, kind of learn all the ins and outs of it. You can see we've got a load full of ice in here. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to take you through and kind of explain. So first and foremost, the light ring on the outside. Luckily, they print what it means on the top. So green means that your ice is full, and then they've got a variety of different lights. The one thing I will say, and I hope I can show you in a second, but when the light is white, it actually looks a little bit blue, but the blue itself is very dark blue. So when you haven't seen the blue first, you're gonna think that the white color is it, but it's really not. But in terms of how it works, you should understand that it's different than an ice maker in your freezer. And the reason that it's different is because this section here is not insulated. And what I mean by that is once it makes the ice, it's not kept cold up there. It's basically, room temperature other than the ice itself. And so what happens is after it makes it, it will start to melt. And so in a minute, I'm gonna take this out and kind of show you what it looks like. But it will basically melt, recollect down here, and then recycle. And so it's kind of continually making ice. And so right now it's full, but even if I don't take any out of here, if I leave it for a while, it's gonna melt and then turn itself back on. And so the unit runs a lot more frequently than a freezer ice machine because of the lack of insulation. So let me show you what it looks like. It has there's a sensor in here, and so that is what lets it know when the ice is there. So I'm gonna scoop some out real quick, and then I will show you what it looks like when when it kicks back on. So it's a pretty sensitive system, or at least it seems to be, so I hope that works here. But let me scoop some, and when I do, it'll probably sense that it's empty, and you'll see the light ring change. So let me try it. So see, it just turned on there. And so just that little bit of me taking that section out, you can see how much ice, I got out. There's still plenty left in here. That kicked it back on, and that is actually the white color. On my phone, it looks a lot more white than in real life. In real life, it's a little bit more bluey, purplish, but that's the white color, and that's what it makes. Now, I will say when this unit's on, it does make a low hum, so it's not a quiet, it's not something that you wouldn't hear. You can hear when it's on. I would equate it to about the volume of like, I don't know, maybe your dishwasher or something like that, depending on the unit you have. So it's kind of a little bit background noise, but it's not, you definitely hear it when it's on. Now, in terms of the ice itself, because this was something I was really curious about, this is kind of how the cubes come out. They're like little, they are chewy, right? So you can put them in your mouth and chomp down, right? So they are chewy. They're not necessarily the same as like Sonic Ice or something like that, but it is a true Nugget Ice. And because this isn't refrigerated, they don't freeze together. They stay separate, and so as you put them in your glass, they shake around. But so overall, super easy to use. All you do to turn it off, press the button, press the button. In terms of how it actually works, let me turn it off to show you this part. When you open this, you can take the ice out. It's just in this little bin here. You see some water dripping, and that's because the bin is open on the bottom. And that's what lets it drip down into the water reservoir. And so when you get this thing, you pour distilled water, regular water, tap water, whatever you want to do, down in there, almost just like it's a coffee maker. And so you put it down in there, and then you put the basket on top, shut the lid, press on. That's it. That's literally all it takes for the operation. It'll produce ice and push it out through this little trap door here until this whole thing gets full and that gets blocked. And then as soon as it does, it'll go off. And then as soon as it's, you scoop down, it will restart. So overall, I'm really pleased with it. It takes up, not a ton of space on the counter. It's about the size of like a small air fryer. And so it fits perfectly in this little gap that we have. And I don't even have it pushed all the way against the wall. It's out about a good 6 inches just for the purpose of this video. But when we push it back, you can see how it fits kind of in this little coffee bar setup that we have. So really pleased with it. My wife is obsessed with the chewy ice now. She has had it's like she's been eating it as a snack nonstop for the last several days. So really impressed with it so far. I'm curious to see how it'll hold up over time. We haven't had it long enough to really know yet. But like I said, as long as you understand the differences in this versus, you know, like your fridge ice maker that's cold on the inside. This one's gonna run a little more regularly. But other than that, you know, I'm really impressed with it. I feel like it's a good value where it is. The ice that comes out of it is nice. There's plenty in here, you know, to fully fill out a cup. And the other thing you should know, if you started completely from scratch, if there's no ice in there, you pour it in the water and press the button, it takes about 6 minutes until the first little nuggets and cubes start coming out. So, you know, maybe 10 minutes you could have kind of a cup full of ice and ready to go. But other than that, definitely recommend this unit. I think it's like I said, it seems like a good quality piece. I like the aesthetics of it. The size is really manageable. It makes ice very quickly. And yeah, I really don't have any complaints. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And also, if there's another product or something out there that you want me to review, drop it in the comments below. I read all of them. I would love to check out whatever it is that you want me to look at.